Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sylvia and I make videos on planning with the occasional review. Today's video is going to be a review of the Bullet Journal Edition 2. I am so excited to have this. This was absolutely a FOMO buy, a fear of missing out, because I did miss out the first time around. Due to COVID, they just didn't have enough for, supply for the demand. So I didn't get this the first time around. And even though I might not use it in 2022, I had to purchase it thinking at some point I will absolutely use this. So I think I'll start with a straight up review. And at the end of this video, I will talk about the things I didn't like and the things I did like. And more importantly, things that you should be aware of if you are considering purchasing this notebook. Okay, so we're going to start with this black cardstock that wraps around the notebook on the outside of the notebook, and it is so nice because it has foiling on it. Now in the viewfinder it looks like it's gold foiling, but in person it's a little darker than that and it almost looks rose gold. Here's my rose gold Kaweco pen. In comparison, it just looks standard gold, but I'm telling you, it's like kind of psychedelic. As you move it around, it looks rose gold, and I just don't even know. But it's beautiful. I think it's a great feature. So we have this wraparound to tell us all of the different features that we're going to find in this notebook, which is very snazzy. They also have some of these scans. I don't actually have this app anymore. I need to re-download it. I can't remember why I got rid of it. I guess I just didn't use it as much, but if you have iOS or Android, if you want to go to their website, you can just scan it quickly and you're there. Very nice. So some of the features they are talking about in this new notebook are ink-proof pages, 120 GSM pages, which is crazy. I love that. We're going from the standard 80 GSM to 120, so that's a 40% weight difference, and I'm telling you, you can fill it in the notebook. When I picked this up for the first time, I thought, this is not my standard 1917. This is definitely heavier than that. Is it a brick? No, but it certainly does. The weight is certainly noticeable. So this is a collaboration with writer Carol, the creator of the Bullet Journal, and Leuchtturm 1917. And there's some mention of that over here within this fold out. I'm trying to think of, okay, so we have the grid guide, the page dividers, pocket guide, stickers, key page, intentions page, which I think that is new. Is that new from the old one? I know this is not going to be a comparison video, but I certainly am going to do a comparison of the second edition to the first because I do own that and I have used that. Index pages, future log pages, wider margins, page status bullet. And then this goes on to talk about how it will lie flat because it is sewn, 3 bookmarks, and 206 numbered pages, which is a significant decrease in pages because we are going with a thicker 120 GSM pages. Okay, so I went ahead and took everything out of the back pocket so I wouldn't forget to mention these things because I've done that before. It comes with this thank you card, as always, so that you know that it is an official 1917 notebook, and then some information here. One thing I saw, and I don't know, maybe I just don't check this thing out as much, but they have the new sizes here. All of the sizes of the notebooks they have available. I've never seen that before, and I thought that was really nice. So I'm actually going to keep at least this portion, tear it out and keep that for future reference. Then we have our sticker sheet, which is new in edition 2. And we have 12 of these numbered calendar stickers here, 1 through 31, so you can use it for any month that you would like. We have 1 archival sticker here for the spine, 1 archival sticker here for the front of your notebook. So if you wanted to put what month and year or what the purpose for this notebook was, you can certainly still do that. Then you have 2 different sizes of these lightning bolts. The large one, you end up getting 12 stickers, and the smaller ones you get 18. Then you get some circle dots, large and small. So the large circle dots, you end up getting 24, and the smaller ones you get 32. Then you have your weeklies for your monthly log here, and you end up getting 5.5 Mondays or 5.5 weeks. So that should cover the full month, no matter what month you're in. And I suppose you just go ahead and cut these down to whatever day the month starts on. Off to the side here, you have 24 stickers. So each month gets 2 stickers, which I think is really nice. Now, I have never actually used an entire year in a notebook, but you do have an entire year worth of stickers here. So you definitely can use these in a different notebook if this doesn't end up working out for you. As long as you have a 5mm grid notebook, these should certainly work in there. Then we go to the pocket guide. It says bullet journal right there on the front. It has the gold foiling. I'm liking the black for sure. We have another one of those scan me in the back there. So this just talks about here in the front time and how it's the one thing we can't make more of. You can certainly put your name here. I'm really appreciating that this comes out of the back. In the first edition, it's just pages in the back that show you how to use your bullet journal. But this one you can remove, you can take out and not have to carry, or you can gift it to someone else. There's exactly, I think, 12 pages in here of notes, and this is just how to get started. Right now we have the introduction, and they talk about the what, which is the system, the why, which is why we practice, and then of course the purpose, which is to always be intentional. Over here you have a setup for your index, and I love that they have all of these little drawings here, illustrations, to help you kind of see in case you are a newbie, because I think a lot of new people like to use these editions that are already slightly set up for them. We have set up your future log, and of course they give you another illustration so you can see how that can work, how you can fit 6 months to one spread or to 2 pages. Then we have the set up your monthly log, and they show you right there how one page is for the calendar and the other page is for your tasks. Now I think this is probably how you would use the stickers. That's probably why they give you one, 2 of each month. So you can put January here and here, but you can kind of nix the sticker and go ahead and use it on your future log if you wanted to do that. Or if you just wanted to keep it so that if you don't get this edition again, you can use the stickers in your next bullet journal. Then we go to set up your daily log, and they give you an example of how you can fit 4 days to a spread or to 2 pages. Then we talk about practice. If you know that's from, you're awesome. And then this is your morning reflection, and this kind of just talks about sitting down with your bullet journal and making sure that you go over everything that's going to be what you need to get done rather for that day, and if you need to add anything to it, and how it looks throughout the day, which I think is really nice. And they give you task status here, or what we call signifiers. Then we go to the evening reflection, which is pretty much the same as the morning reflection. You're just going to sit down, make sure that you've crossed off everything, migrated anything, scheduled anything that cannot be done for the next day. And then you move on to the monthly reflection, which is basically the getting things done by David Allen flow chart. I think that's what they call it. And then the last page is next steps, which just talks about how you can customize collections to fit your needs. So this is kind of handy, not information that's new, at least to me, but it's nice to have it to refer to and to remind you. I liked having the flow chart here in the back as well, but I certainly don't think I'm going to carry this around. So if you don't carry it around, there is somewhat of a gap in the back where it actually used to be. It's not that serious, but it's definitely there, and I thought that was interesting. Because this is so heavy, I mean, I shouldn't say so heavy, but like 50%, I think that's the math. Who knows? I'm an English major. You let me know down below. It's very heavy, going from 80 to 120 GSM. And so I was wondering if like maybe the cover was thicker, because it just seemed like an odd weight. It's just not what I was used to. I don't know if you would call it muscle memory when you pick something up and you know exactly how it's supposed to feel, and this is just not the standard 1917. So that's gonna take some getting used to. So on the outside we have that elastic string as always with all 1917s. On the cover, Bullet Journal has its logo right here, and it's embossed, which is very nice. On the spine they have a debossing of a lightning bolt, and then on the back it just says 1917, like all standard notebooks that come from this company, and that is debossed. On the inside here we get 3 bookmarks, so white, gray, and black. Now the bullet journal only comes in 2 colors at the making of this video. It comes in black and a blush color. So one of these elastics might change, probably this one. When you get the blush color, it'll probably be more of a blush or pink tone. The bullet journal edition 1 actually only has 3, and I think it started out with 2 different colors. So I don't imagine they're going to give more colors than the 2 or 3, but I wish they would just make them in all the colors. Is it just me? I don't know. On the inside of the notebook, they continue that beautiful foiling, and they give us what they're calling the grid. I think it's called a grid guide. Let me see. Yes, the grid or the grid guide. This is really nice. I've tried to draw this out once, and it's just a lot of work that I am not, as a lazy planner, willing to do. So I appreciate getting this with the notebook. For the most part, my layouts are not this complex, so I don't actually need to go down to 1/12 of a page, but it's nice for those people who want to. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit so you can see this. So off to the side here, we have 13, 19, and 25 in foiling on both sides. And that just indicates thirds, where you can divide this page into thirds and in halves, in half. So right here, you can see 3 dots for thirds and 2 for half, which is kind of amazing. And they're going to continue that on every single page in the bullet journal notebook. At the bottom, you have the same, so you can divide in thirds by 9 and 17, and in half by 13, and that's also going to be marked on every page. Off here, it tells you this is without the border. On this page, we have the what and why, and I love a good Venn diagram. So that is really a nice logo to have on there. And of course, it says bulletjournal.com in case you need more information or more ideas for what to do with your bullet journal. You can head over there. Now, as we start to get into the notebook, you'll have like this flyleaf that they always have that's glued, and it's an awkward page just so that you don't see the binding. I usually glue this together so that it's not weird when I'm trying to flip it, because it is kind of awkward. My struggle here, and we'll talk about this more, but I just want to mention it now, with these thicker pages, it really doesn't like to be sewn very much, and you can really see where it's actually sewn a lot more, I think, than in the 80 GSM paper. Now we have page 1 starting on what I would consider the cover page of the entire notebook, down here below. Zoom in on that so you can see that it's just a standard like Times New Roman font. And down here you can see where they've divided the page by thirds by 3 dots and then in half by 2 dots. And in the margin is actually where they've gone ahead and they've put the dots for dividing it into thirds and half. So it's really off to the side and not noticeable if you are not interested in using that. So over here, we do have the key, and they've gone ahead and they've labeled it, titled it for us. They also have the intentions page next to that. So the grid is actually a lot lighter than any Leuchtturm that I've ever had before. And then we have the titles in a light gray as well. So you can certainly cover them if you didn't want to use an intentions page, but it's nice that they include that. We only get 1 page for the intentions page. This is still 5mm grid, even though, we're going to go ahead and zoom out, even though they give us a larger or wider margin. I was concerned they might go down to like 4mm, but they did not. So that's really nice. So over here on the key, you can see that they used a dark ink. So if I turn the page here, I'm trying to see off camera, I can kind of see the ghosting of the words written and the marks on here. I don't know if you can tell, but it's still a lot fainter than it would be on the 80 GSM, of course, which makes me really happy. So if you're someone who wants to use like a mild liner or like a, what is it called, a felt tip marker, you certainly could do that, and you probably wouldn't have as much ghosting as you used to in the 80 GSM paper, and that is so snazzy. I am very excited about that. So there are little dots next to the key in a square shape so that you can add on to this key or make your own key and ignore this one in case you don't like having tasks completed as an X. Some of us like squares that we fill in. You can certainly do so. So I really appreciate this key page because I'm not going to get it together to draw this out. So it's nice that it's already done for you. So one page for the key, one page for intentions. Now we go into the index where we get 2 spreads or 4 pages. We also get a future log where we have it already labeled for us, and you end up getting 4 pages or 2 spreads for the future log, and the actual first page that has no title or nothing on it starts on page 12. There are 206 pages in this notebook. So, as you can see here down at the bottom for the key, you got the number right there, but you don't have a dot underneath. You've got a number here for the intentions page with no dot. But once you hit the index, they do give you a dot underneath the number of the page, and that is for what they're calling the page status bullet. So this is supposed to signify whether the page is completed or incompleted. I tend to put a little square and I fill it in when that page is done, so I know I don't have to look at that anymore. It makes sense why they wouldn't have it for your intentions page or the key. You probably would have it for the index just so that when you're done with this notebook, you have made sure you've indexed everything before you mark it off. So I suppose that does make sense. Talking about the number of pages on here, they are no longer on the edge of the page, they are in the center, and I feel like that must be some kind of design thing. I don't know how having it in the center is going to help you as somebody who bullet journals more than on the edge of the paper. So that's something I will definitely have to get used to, and you might also. You certainly don't need it in the center of the page since it's already marked by 2 dots to let you know that that's where the center is. So that is interesting feature. So let's move to the back where I've gone ahead and I've done somewhat of a pen test. So these are just pens that I currently have in my office, pens that I tend to use the most in a bullet journal. The paper has a nice cream color. At first I thought maybe it was lighter, but when I put it against the ADGSM notebook that I have by 1917, it's the same color. Maybe because the pages are thicker, it looks a little different, but the same cream color. It does have a slight coating on it that it didn't have before, so the pages are much smoother, and that can change the difference to how long gel pen will take to dry on here. So I certainly have some gel pens on here, and they did fine. I didn't have any smearage, which made me very happy. I wanted to know about the ghosting, so just give me a second here. I did on this back page, that's kind of like the front page where it's glued together so you don't see the binding. Usually I just glue these so I don't have to deal with it, but I thought, oh, I'm just going to do a pen test. So let me put a white page behind this so we can kind of see the ghosting situation here. Zoom in. So not too bad. You can see some slight ghosting here. Nothing in comparison to ADGSM paper. You will see that I have a sticker here, and you might think, why does she have a sticker? Let me pull out my old one. Now, this is not a comparison video, but I think it's important to note. This is my ADGSM 1917. I like to set up pages like this in advance for my vocabulary spreads or for my book review spreads, and you can see the stickers ghosting pretty bad on this paper. You can see that back there as well, and that is just very interesting because you can't see the sticker at all in the other one, and I will show that again. Sometimes I'll use stickers in here to cover like a mistake if I make a mistake, or I will put a sticker on the page after in case I had some bleed through. But these are the same washi type stickers, and you can definitely see the ghosting and the shape of the sticker here. And back to this guy, you can't even tell where the sticker is. So it's right here. So about there. You can't even see the shape, and that is so nice. I love it. And then in the back here, we have our pocket that has a gusset. That's where all of our stickers and these little things go. You can store whatever you need inside. This, I just think it had the back page slid in like that, and your guide is in there. No worries. Also put my stickers back so I don't lose those. So now let's talk about the things that I liked, didn't like, and of course some things that you should know as somebody who might purchase this notebook. Actually, I shouldn't have put the stickers back because I wanted to talk about them. So my situation and frustration with the stickers is this. It's not a problem for me, but if you're kind of like my mom and my friend who's actually only in her 40s, she doesn't see all that well. These stickers are very, very small. They're tiny, tiny, and they're very light. So it's going to be kind of hard for some people to be able to see these. So you might not end up even using these at all because it's just easier for you to use a bold pen and make your numbers bigger. So that's just one thing. It's not that serious and it's not going to be for everyone. One thing that did frustrate me that's a concern for everyone is that they put the foiled stickers right next to each other so they touch and they rub up against each other, and not in a good way. And so you can see here that it looks like my stickers haven't been foiled properly. That's not true. They have been. It's just that they've been rubbing up and they're breaking off, which is so incredibly unfortunate. Is it that serious? No, but I really wish that that was not the case. So until they move these, that's probably always going to happen, and it can't possibly just be my set of stickers. So that is the sticker situation. I want to go back to dealing with the page numbers down here at the bottom. I'm going to zoom you in. My struggle with the page numbers being in the center is I have always, to find things quickly, because you're referring to stuff, I always flip through like this. And I look for my page numbers. They're no longer there in the corner. I have to flip a little wider, and that's not a huge problem. It's just something we're all just going to have to get used to in order to see it. So I just don't understand the design of putting the page numbers in the center of the page. You know what I mean? I just don't understand it. I prefer to have them on the edge. I'm a lazy planner, so I highly doubt that I'm going to rewrite them on the edge, but you certainly could, especially if you can't see them because they are pretty small and faint. Now, most people might like that, but again, if you're having issues seeing, it might become a problem. I was watching a video by who was it? I think it was Brian, the creator of the, I was going to say something else. The Frankenlog. He said that he put a slash here and then wrote in a very bold black pen, and he has a large handwriting, to where his next spread was, and he accidentally wrote the wrong number because his number was so big and bold, he couldn't see this one in comparison. So what I might have to do rather, is use a pencil down here so that it's, not going to overshadow this. Again, pretty fixable. Also, they say that you can highlight this little dot here if you wanted to color code. In reality, I like to color code off to the side here, just so that when I'm flipping through, I can see it easier. Just something to be thinking about there. Another thing I'm not excited about is that the notebook itself starts on page 1 with the cover page. For me, the reason to number your pages in your bullet journal is to index things so that you can find things easier. Why in the world would I want to index my cover page? It's literally the first page. I don't think I'm going to find it hard to find this. I don't feel like I need to index the key either because it's the second page. It's pretty easy to find. I'm not going to ever go into my mind and say, oh my gosh, where's that key page? It eludes me. No, so I feel like this is just a shifty thing to do in order to make them, in order for them to be able to say rather that there's 206 pages in here, when in reality the first usable page that they haven't already numbered starts on page 12. Is that serious? No. The reality is, like I mentioned, these headers are pretty light in comparison. So you could actually start your first page and ignore these headers on page 3, the intentions page. You can't do that on page 2 or 1 because it's the key and of course the cover page, and they don't have the same layout. Now the dots itself we should talk about. Let me zoom out a little bit here. The dots here across are 25 and the dots down are 37. So they have changed the number of dots. There used to be 27 across and I think 39 or 38 down. And so I think they honestly got rid of that, not to give us wider margins like they say. Let's see what they say about the margins. Wider margins for your topics. So basically what they're saying is they want you to be able to have some space up here to put your own header. But in reality, I need these dots in order to make my header because I'm not great at lettering at all. So that doesn't help me out unless I'm going to use stickers or I'm going to use my label maker. For the most part, I don't. So that just means I have to use more space down here and I have less space to do it in because the margin is wider. In reality, I think the reason why they got rid of the dots isn't because they want to give us a wider margin, and it's not really for our needs as far as titles are concerned. I think it's so that they could divide the page evenly in thirds and in half without having any extra dots or what they call cells left over. And that's fine, but it's like, just say that, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to just number it page 1 to say that you have 206 pages in the notebook that you can use. You can just say, hey, you're going to have less than 200 pages because we've already numbered some of them. You know, there's nothing wrong with saying that. We're not stupid people. Definitely noticing those things. So just be aware of that. I don't think it's a bad thing that they got rid of those extra dots over and down. Most of us are used to adapting our layouts to different notebooks, going from 5mm to 4mm notebooks. I'm grateful that they kept the 5mm because I have large handwriting and it's important for me. I don't care for 4mm grid. As far as the paper is concerned, how thick it is, it still bends over nicely. It's not too thick. I think 120 was the right decision. It's not going to make me feel like I'm going to cut my finger. I feel like with the Scribbles That Matter paper, it was so thick. I always was scared I was going to cut myself. This is really a nice medium paper, and I think the coating is nice as well. It's not too thick of a coating that we're going to have some issues with gel pens. Like I mentioned, my gel pens in the back, they dried pretty well. I was really concerned about my play color dots and these clean color dots. They definitely will bleed through on the 80 GSM. Sometimes it's hard to control how much ink comes out of them. It's not really consistent, but as you can see here, I'll see if I can pull it up. Here is where the dot is. There's a little bit of ghosting, but absolutely no bleed through. So I was really excited about that. I still am annoyed with the sewing and how that has come out. It's really apparent on some pages. On some pages, I think it was page 6, I noted there was some like ripping or pilling of the page, like it was glued weird. So when I was breaking in the notebook, and even Writer Carol breaks in notebooks on his channel, you just do that by taking a couple of pages and then going like this, a couple more pages. It helps it lie flat even more. I was having some tears of my pages and I thought that was really sad. So I don't know if they can fix that or not, but you can definitely see here where it was pilling and I was like, no. My beautiful notebook. There was a weird sound at first with the spine. I don't know. It's gone away. I think maybe it was just because it had never been opened before. But now it seems okay. Yeah, so that's everything I think that you needed to know. So let me know if you've used this. Let me know what you think about the new features, less dots, having the page number in the center of the page. Is this like something that's really important? I'm just missing the brilliance of this because I'm honestly just not getting it. What do you think about the coating on the paper? Have you noticed that some of your pens are already smearing or just not working? Let me know what you think about the 120 GSM paper because I'm absolutely loving it. And so to let you know, if you're not interested in the bullet journal itself, Leuchtturm does have a new line of 120 GSM paper notebooks that have the different layouts in case you're not interested in dot grid. I think they only have 4 colors in that line, but I think I'm definitely going to get it and do a comparison video to this one. All right, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope that this was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.